Hi guys! So this is my first video in general, let alone my first live video. So if you don't personally know me, which I think most of you do, um, this is me. I am the crazy woman behind I Have a Needle Salt Ministries. Yeah, God gave this depraved soul the means to try to preach and teach. Yay! So, obviously, today is Sunday. I hope everyone had a good Sunday. Hopefully, you all got to fellowship with your church families and your own families. We had a great service today. Our senior pastor is over in Ethiopia, doing some missions work over there. Um, Hopefully he didn't have to jump out of that perfectly good airplane. He's still over there, so hopefully he doesn't have to jump out of it on the way coming back either. So today, instead of our senior pastor, we had our youth pastor give a word of evangelism today. And for many of you that don't know, because I didn't know before both he and my pastor, my senior pastor, have been talking about it, only 6 out of every 100 Christians actually bring someone to Christ in their lifetime. So I don't know about you, but the future of the Christian church is looking kind of bleak if only 6 out of 100 of us are actually bringing someone into the church, right? So we have all got a lot to work on, including myself. I think I can count on one hand how many people I've actually brought to Christ. Granted, some of us plant the seeds, some of us water the seeds, and others of us actually get to reap the harvest. But I can only say for sure less than 5 that I for sure know that I've brought to Christ. So we've got some work cut out for us. So after church service today, I had 3 out of 4 of my children, including my 13-year-old. And if anyone else has a 13-year-old boy, you know how, a whole couple hours at church will drive him hungry, right? So after church, we went to a fast food restaurant because who has time to sit down and eat? Because I have 4 boys and a husband at home. So grab and go, right? Well, my quick grab and go turned into 20 to 30 minutes waiting in line and then waiting for our food to be prepped, which isn't their fault. There were obviously a lot of people also starving, probably filled with 13-year-old boys in their vehicle too. And so it took a long time. People were frustrated. There were people cutting in and out of the line. People were bumper to bumper. And by the time I got up to the window to pay, I gave the woman my card, and I just felt God nudging me to pay for the vehicle behind me. And, a lot of you don't personally, know me, so you guys don't know how much an extra 20 or $30 gone out of my budget would really be detrimental to me. And all I can think about is, what if they have 5 13-year-old boys in the back? Because I know how much my 13-year-old boy can eat. And if their 13-year-old boys can eat just as much as my 13-year-old boys, it's going to be like $50. And I don't have that. And this is a prepaid card. And I only have so much on it. I don't know if I can do it. But I did it anyway. I gave the card to the lady and said I'd also like to pay for the vehicle behind me, please. And she said, "Oh, okay." And she rang it up. And while she's ringing it up, I'm thinking, oh, okay. So this could be really bad. Either my card's going to get declined or I'm going to have just enough on there. But, oh yeah, I'm going to feel really good about myself once this happens, right? I'm going to feel so awesome. And my day is just going to be so much better because I'm going to feel really great about being able to give to this person. I don't even know this person. Maybe they really, really need their food to be paid for. Maybe they're just on as just a tight a budget as I am, right? And then I'm thinking, ooh, we could be one of those social media stories, right? Like, what if everyone behind them, what if everyone starts giving and we could like start a chain reaction and it'll be on Instagram, it'll be on Facebook, it'll be on Twitter. Yeah, this Cadillac area fast food, yeah, it's going to be on there and we are going to be able to give a praise report for the amazing things that just happened this Sunday because of the awesome stuff that I heard about evangelizing at work or at church, right? So my wheels are turning in my head and I'm thinking, yes, this is going to be so amazing, God. I am faithful. You are going to take this and you are going to make this yours and it is going to be amazing, right? And she comes back with my total. And I'm freaking out. I'm like, okay, hopefully she's not telling me it's been declined because, So she gives me back my card. She says, okay, their total was $2.12. And my heart dropped. Because I thought, $2.12? Wait. That can't be right because God asked me to pay for this. And would God ask me to pay for this if it was only $2.12? I think this is wrong. No, maybe I should pay for the vehicle behind them too. And before those words came out of my mouth, God, he snapped his fingers at me and said, no, Mickey, you're going to pay for that car. And I was like, well, God, what? You asked me to pay for this car. You wanted me to do something good, and you are asking me to do something good for a measly $2.12? $2.12. That's it. So I drove off and waited for my food, still frustrated because I'm thinking, they don't care that I paid for their $2.12 meal. What do they care? It's $2.12. They got like a cheeseburger. Whoop-de-doo. They don't care. And that's when God hit me. Because I so often go into these things thinking about the good feeling that I'm going to get, right? I'm going to get this recognition. Not recognition from other people, right? Because I don't care what other people think. I don't want people to throw me a big whoop-de. I don't care. I just don't. That's not who I am. But I like to feel good about myself. I like to get that feeling of that I've done something, that what I've done matters. And sometimes I don't have to feel that way. God's been working on me about me just being enough for him. No matter what I do, I'm just enough for him. I don't need to have recognition from anyone else. And I don't even need recognition from myself because he's called me to do it. And that's enough, right? So I get home and I tell my husband and he gets nervous. He's like, you were going to pay for someone's meal because we don't have money to get food for ourselves, fast food wise. And we sure don't have money to pay for anyone else. I said, well, it was only $2.12, honey. It's okay. God was faithful. God was really faithful. He made sure that we had enough money to help this person behind us get a hamburger or maybe a coffee. But he did. He was very faithful in that. So, yay. So, yes, God was very faithful in knowing that probably the same amount of money that my meal cost would have completely wiped out my prepaid card and we wouldn't have had much money for the rest of the week. Now, granted, this is Sunday. We get paid on Friday. So, my money gone, right? Already. So, we couldn't afford to do much more. So it really made me think of when God was speaking about the Pharisees in Matthew, the book of Matthew, chapter 6. And starting at verse 1, and I'll read this for you guys. Don't have your Bible out or your Bible app open on your phone. So starting Matthew chapter 6, verse 1. Be careful not to do your acts of righteousness before men, to be seen by them. If you do, you will have no reward from your Father in heaven. So when you give to the needy, do not announce it with trumpets as the hypocrites do in the synagogues and on the streets, to be honored by men. I tell you the truth, they have received their reward in full. So this is the only thing this is the first thing that came through my mind, right? And I was thinking, well, God, I'm not trying to announce this with trumpets, and I don't want all these people, to know that, oh, here, I paid for this person's big meal, whatever. I just want to feel good, right? What's wrong with trying to feel good? Well, a lot, Mickey, because Mickey's feelings don't matter, right? When it comes to that, it is about doing God's work, whether that's $2.12 or whether that's $212. It's all about God's work. And sometimes his rewards aren't immediate. In fact, most of the time, God's rewards aren't immediate, right? So if we go and we look at Galatians chapter 6, verses 9 and 10. Here Paul is writing. It says, let us not become weary in doing good, for at the proper time we will reap a harvest if we do not give up. Therefore, as we have opportunity, let us do good to all people, especially to those who belong to the family of believers. So let's go back up to verse 9 here. So at the proper time, we will reap our harvest. Not right now. Maybe not even tomorrow. Maybe not even a year from now. In fact, we may not reap our harvest until Christ has come. Right? Because, let's be honest, people, he doesn't owe us anything anymore, right? He died on the cross for us, and that's the ultimate biggest gift, sacrifice, and reward that we can ever get. So if I never receive another reward ever in heaven or on earth, if the only thing that I get from Christ is the gift of his salvation as a reward, it's worth it, right? So God may not always reward us right away. And in fact, he's probably not going to. And that's okay, right? So if we look also back in the book of Matthew in chapter 25, so starting at verse 14, God starts telling a parable of the kingdom of heaven and how he, when the master is away, he gives his 3 servants a different amount of talents, and he expects a reward or a return on that when he comes back, right? So the 3 different servants do different things and each get different results. So both the first and the second servant actually get a return on what God has given them. So when the master returns with his first servant, and he repeats the same thing with his second servant, he replies on verse 21, his master replied, well done, good and faithful servant. You have been faithful with a few things. I will put you in charge of many things. Come and share your master's happiness. So, because the servant, because he says this for both the first and the second servant, right? Because he was faithful with what the master had given him, with very little, he will be in charge of much more, right? So when God entrusted me for $2.12, I can expect that God is going to entrust me for more now. Maybe it'll be $3 next time. Who knows? But next time he's going to entrust me with a little bit more. And what is my reward going to be? It's not going to be stuff here on earth, right? If we look back at the end of that verse, God says, "Come and share your master's happiness." So our reward can be as simple as God's happiness. It doesn't have to be my happiness. God doesn't have to prove anything to me. But he delights in the good that we do to others. And when he delights in us, we can rejoice and be happy. So even though I came into this with a terrible attitude of this not being enough, that clearly God was mistaken, because God makes mistakes or not. I've been able to learn from this. God, I believe, had me do this for a learning lesson for myself, and hopefully a learning lesson for everyone else too. Because he's taught me that I need to be faithful when there is little or no reward, so that I will know to be faithful when the reward is great. So I won't be arrogant, so I won't be boastful, so I can be faithful to him in the big things that he asks me. Because we know that if we're faithful in the little things that he gives us, he's going to be faithful to give us abundantly. He's going to give us more things to be faithful for. And the challenge is going to get harder and harder. And the rewards are going to get bigger and bigger. But again, our rewards may be just that in heaven. And that's okay with me. And I hope that now it's okay with you too.